Welcome. Today, we're diving into an idea that might just change how you look at your local business forever. We're going to break down how to take your marketing, something you probably see as a monthly expense, and turn it into the single most valuable, most sellable asset your company has. So let me just ask you this straight up. What is the most valuable, but maybe hidden asset in your business right now? You might think, oh, it's my trucks, my customer list, my building. But what if I told you it's something you're probably already doing, you're just not packaging it in a way that adds a zero to your company's price tag? To really get this, we've got to look past this month's revenue, past this quarter's profit, and start thinking about the long game. We're talking about your company's final exit value. Look, most of the time, a business is valued at some multiple of its profit. It's pretty standard stuff. But here's the big idea we're digging into. What if a powerful automated marketing system, one that runs itself, was the biggest multiplier of all? One that adds value completely separate from you, the owner. To really see how this works, let's start at the beginning. Let's look at a typical, solid, well-run local business. So, meet Advanced Water Systems. They're a real company down in Port St. Lucie, and they've been doing water filtration for 38 years. By every measure, these guys are a great local business. And they've got all the things you'd expect, right? Customers trust them, they know their service area, they have a clear offer, easy to get in touch with. But here's the crucial thing. This is a solid business, but it's not necessarily a sellable asset. Why? Because its value is all tied up in its current reputation, not in a predictable, scalable engine for growth. So, how do you actually build that engine? Well, the answer lies in a marketing flywheel that's powered by the best resource you have, your own happy customers. We call it the advocate flywheel, and the idea is really simple, but it's incredibly powerful. You're creating a marketing machine that just keeps spinning on its own, where your best customers don't just leave you a nice review, they actually become your most authentic and persuasive sales team. And it works in 3 really clear steps. First, you have to deliver a service that genuinely, truly changes someone's life for the better. Second, you got to give them a platform to tell that story. And third, you amplify that story everywhere, turning one person's great experience into a magnet for dozens of new customers. And this isn't just theory. Real stories make this tangible. Take Sarah, right? She's the concerned mom. Her daughter had this awful skin irritation. Nobody could figure it out. 2 weeks after Advanced Water Systems put in a new system, boom, problem gone. That's not a sales pitch. That's a life-changing story about health. Sarah's not a customer anymore. She's a true believer. Then you get someone like Ron, the discoverer. He saw a crazy before and after video that got him interested. So after he bought a system, he made his own video. It got 50,000 views and brought the company 12 new customers directly. Think about that. The customer literally became a high-performing marketing asset. Or what about Marcus, the protector? His plumber gives him the bad news. Hey man, you're looking at 15 grand to replace your pipes because of all this corrosion. So instead, he invests in a water system. Now he's out there telling everyone it's a smart financial move, a way to prevent a total disaster. He completely reframed the conversation from an expense to an investment. And finally, there's Maria, the planner. She'd been watching the company for months, kind of on the fence. Then a hurricane is barreling down on them. She needs clean, safe water, and she needs it fast. They got a system installed for her in 48 hours. That didn't just win a sale, it created a customer for life. A moment of crisis forged a real, unbreakable bond. Now here's the really important part. These are more than just feel-good stories. They're actually the bricks you use to build something much, much bigger, a defensive digital moat around your business. And that moat is something a future buyer will pay a premium for. So let's talk about how people find things online today. We're living in what's called the zero-click world. Something like 60% of all Google searches end right there on the results page, without anyone ever clicking on a website. The answer they need is right there. That means getting someone to your website is not the main goal anymore. The new goal for 2025 and beyond is to be the answer, everywhere. It's about dominating the search results, showing up in those AI summaries, and having your customer stories pop up in social media feeds. You're not just building a website, you're building omnipresence. And you know what? This fits perfectly with how Google actually decides who to show. They use a framework they call EEAT. It stands for experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. Basically, Google wants you to prove you're the real deal, not just that you have a slick sales page. And this is where it all clicks into place. Those customer stories, they are pure rocket fuel for EEAT. Sarah's story about her daughter's health, that's real-world experience. Ron's video going viral, that's building massive authoritativeness. Marcus being referred by his trusted plumber, that is pure trustworthiness. And Maria's story about the hurricane response, that shows deep, real-world expertise. Okay, now let's get to the best part, the payoff. This is where all that hard-earned trust and authority turns into a tangible line item on a balance sheet. This is where it becomes a sellable asset. Let's go back to Marcus for a second. His story completely changes the math. The product isn't just a couple $1,000s for a water system. Nope, it's an investment that prevents a $15,000 catastrophe. That's a quantifiable return on investment that makes the decision to buy an absolute no-brainer for the next customer. This really just shows the massive shift in thinking. On the left, you've got marketing as an expense. You pay for ads, you get some leads. You stop paying, the leads dry up. On the right, it's an asset. It's a system that predictably churns out leads on its own, with a value that has nothing to do with whether the founder shows up to work tomorrow. And this is what gets a potential buyer's heart racing. They aren't just buying your current book of business. They are buying a predictable, low-cost lead machine. They're buying that digital moat. They're buying a growth system that will keep working long after you've cashed their check. This just crushes their investment risk and makes them willing to pay a much, much higher price. So, I'll leave you with this question to chew on. Is your marketing just building today's sales, or is it building a permanent, sellable asset for tomorrow? Because the answer to that question could literally be worth a fortune.